So here we are in the crypt of Repton Church, and this is one of the original Anglo Saxon crypts, and this is an incredibly rare crypt. There's not many left in the country. Just so you know, Repton is the original capital, or the historic capital, of Mercia. And I just wanted to show you these columns because they're just absolutely fabulous in the Anglo-Saxon style. So you can see these like sort of curves, this spiral going around these wonderful columns. And here is the inlays. So the kings of Mercia were laid here. Of course, the church has been built on top of it, but you can see where they would have laid. So this would have been one of the areas. It's not very well lit, but you would have had the kings here. And I was just thinking how short these guys must have been to have actually laid here. So they've actually laid out some of the areas for you to see. Where the light is here is where the bodies would have been. So this is the original crypt. Again, another inlay, but it's so badly lit I can't really show you very well, but you can certainly see it here. So here's this area as well, and these wonderful columns. And here you see this Anglo-Saxon stonework. I've seen it in some of the other medieval churches and earlier the medieval churches as well, where you see that sort of brickwork and this wonderful spiral. So I'm just going to turn it around now so you can see the top of the columns. They've whitewashed the top. And the side columns are more square, but these are really quite original. And at the time, it really was early on as well, because this place was attacked by the Vikings. So we're going to go up now so you can see this little tunnel thing, which is really amazing. Oh, here we go. And just think of all the people that walked down these steps over the years. Absolutely hundreds. And you see how it's worn. Look how it's been worn. And then we're coming up into the main body of the church. So this is the main body of the church. So obviously this isn't Anglo-Saxon, but you've still got some really rare and old parts to it, including this wonderful memorial here. So this is from 1482. They thought that this is Robert Francis, and it's an alabaster effigy, but at some point it probably has been outside because it's got some graffiti on it and he's lost some of his parts to his memorial. You can see this where you've got this graffiti, but he's still on this pillar and he's in a prayer position. So just to show you there he is. I just love these because they're just such a great description of what they would have worn in this time. Absolutely stunning. So we're going up to the high altar here, and you can see the brickwork here where they've obviously replaced it. So this would have been more the original, and you've got this like lookout window here. So this would have been probably from the Norman times. And you then got some later brickwork up there with some sort of mezzanine at the top, which is really amazing as well. We're going to go down here to the main high altar. So it's not a particularly fabulous area. There's no stained glass or anything like that. So, and quite a lot of this has obviously been replaced. So we're looking down the church now, and I just want to show you as well these wonderful oak beams. I mean, they're just absolutely stunning, they are. often see these in churches. You get them a lot in like Anglican churches in particular, and some Catholic churches maybe, but I wouldn't like to say how old this is, but it is just a stunning lectern. This is where you'd read the scriptures from, and it's always like an eagle on a ball. Now, the eagle represents the power of Christianity. You know, it's mentioned in the Bible, you know, where eagles soar, and they're generally on top of these like globe things here, which is supposed to represent the world. So it's sort of like the power of Christianity over the world, really. That was the idea of it. So a lot of these church furnishings also were symbolic to what they were trying to represent about the faith. So if we go around to the other side of it, you'll see what scripture we're on. There's no scripture. But here you would open the Bible and read, you know, some kind of scripture from this lectern. And it was the same with all these, like, these are probably all like 19th century, but you've got these wonderful ogee sort of shaped carvings on the end of these choir stalls as well. And I just love the woodwork, and, you know, that's a whole subject in itself. But here's all these wonderful choir stalls, and they're just absolutely beautiful as well. The carvings, obviously all hand carved originally, and these are very typical of like 19th century or even 20th century pews, so these are relatively modern. I just love this as well. This is a tombstone, and it's incredibly old. It's 16th century. You can see the date there, 1563, and you've got some names as well. It's Elizabeth Regina. I don't know whether that's the name of the monarch or the name of the people who are on it. But again, these like simplistic versions of like a male and female figure in prayer. And just look at what they were wearing and how they were like described. I mean, it was just amazing. It does say died the three, and you can also see some other like bits of carving. So again, this may have been outside at some point. And I'm just going to go down here. So this seems to be the mum, and here is the dad. But if you go down here, you also see two little figures, two minifigures. They look like little lions. But I would say that they were their children as well. And it also says the body of Gilbert Thacker Esquire and Thomas. So whether they were the children... you've also got here, it says, here lieth the body of Gilbert Thacker Esquire, the son of Thomas Esquire, who died the 3, and Elizabeth of February. It's all in Old English, so it's difficult to read. But you've definitely got some sort of children here. And this wonderful sort of like lion figure. So it's a bit like that other one from the 16th century in the fact that they'd have a familiar at the bottom. And I don't know whether it's a dog or some kind of lion, phoenix type creature, but it's absolutely amazing. So this is just a wonderful example of a 16th century tombstone. So obviously it's been moved and it's now displayed on the wall of the church. And we'll look at some of the flooring now. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy. You've got these like, well, just slabs. You've got bits of wood, which obviously with the heating has been a complete add-on. But here you have some of these wonderful terracotta tiling and these wonderful other like little tiles. Now, I'm inclined to believe that this is not Victorian. This is much earlier. These are not in the style of Victorian tiles, although I might be wrong because I'm not an expert on tiling, but these are probably some of the original tiling. It's also been inlaid by some of these gravestones. So this is obviously a tombstone, but again, it's been worn away. So this is a great example of how the church has changed. So you see the flooring here, you go from this kind of tiling to gravestones to bits of wood and heating. And all the way down here, you've also got this, basically these like outside stones. So I don't know whether you knew this, but originally people wouldn't have sat down. They would have actually stood in the church. Can you imagine that? Standing in the church for hours on end. And obviously now they've got this newish area with toilets and things like that. So I'm just taking you to the back of the church here, the spire, and here you've got this wonderful bell arrangement, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So you can see the ropes coming down here, and here they all are. So there's a good set of bells, and this wonderful sort of oak furnishing, and then the font here. So, you know, you could actually open the doors at the back, and the bells would ring out. And at the side, we've also got these baptism rolls at St. Wystan in Repton. So, you know, this is really amazing. So you can actually see it. And then that little round door right at the top leads into the bell tower. And as we go down, I just want to point this out to you. If we go past the Messy Church, they've hid it behind Messy Church. But if you actually go around to this bit, this is a 9th century grave cover. And I just want to point out these swirls. So we've seen similar in like Willington, where you get these like geometric shapes, and it's very typical of the 9th century. And here we have a grave cover, and again it's really small, so it gives you a good idea that people were a lot smaller at the time. So this one was actually discovered in 1984. So, and again, it's been mounted, you know, on the wall of the church. So just in this wonderful porchway, you've got this Anglo Saxon figurine here. Again, absolutely amazing. You can see maybe some sort of pilgrim or shepherd or something similar. And there's another little sort of carving on this side, but it's pretty hard to identify. But this is also a really beautiful carving, and these have just been put outside. And so again, this would be the original stone columns right here, although this is probably, obviously this door is very modern. And you've also got some of the original column work down here, all foliage, and you can see some of the carvings. So they're really stunning as well. And I also like this. Some of them have these. So it says here, Repton Charity. So when people gave money, sometimes there'd be a board up just like representing what they did. So just to point out a couple of them, you've got Dorothy Burdett, by will dated 1717, gave £200, also vested in lands belonging to Sir Francis Burdett, producing £10 per annum to be disposed of in like manner, with the addition of Tickenhall and Polesworth to the former places. And you've got William Gilbert, by will 1706, gave 2 acres and 8 perches of land lying in Repton Goodfield. William Hunt gave £20. Richard Cummins, by deed of settlement 1799, gave £100 to be distributed in bread amongst the poor of Repton on the day before Christmas Day by the minister and churchwardens for the time being. Well, when we look at that, we think £100. Well, won't buy it much nowadays. Barely buy you a shop, would it? Barely buy you a week's worth of shopping. But, you know, in 1799, that was a substantial amount of money. Certainly in 1657, he gave £100, producing £5 per annum, which was an extortionate amount of money for the time, certainly for 1657. So that's why these have been mentioned. So we're just going to go out past these wonderful doors into the wonderful sunshine. Here we go. And I just want to show you this fabulous graffiti as well on the side. So people have carved the name into this wonderful arch, and there is St. Wystan right there, right at the front in the porch. Here on the right hand side, I just want to point out you've got this priest's door. So here's this wonderful priest's door with a bit of graffiti, look, from 1856 there. You've got these fabulous head corbels, which you can just about make out, nice faces. There has been some repair work, but what hasn't been replaced is basically a scratch dial. And on the very old churches, you get these basically to tell you, you know, what time mass was, or before the clocks were put on. So, I mean, this has now got a spire, this church, with a clock. So if I turn it round there, you'll see. There it is, the clock. But that's a much later add-on. But at the time, they wouldn't have had that. And here you would have had the scratch dial. And they've still got the little metal bit coming out with the shadow, because it's sunshine, telling you the time, if you could follow it. So that is that. So that's really amazing to see a scratch dial of that ilk. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing a bit of St Wiston's in Repton. There's just so much to do on it, so I'll go and show you a grave in a minute, because it's one of my favourite graves and I just absolutely love it, and it's just one of the most amazing stories of all the churches I've been to. So I'll go and do that in a minute. But I just hope you've enjoyed seeing the inside of this absolutely fabulous church. It's one of my favourites, along with Melbourne. It's one of my favourites. It's in Derbyshire, so if you get a chance to visit it. Of course, Repton's famous for its school, and it's got a, you know, if you kind of look over here, which I'm not going to really show, well, I could do it, you know, you can see the back of the school there, and that is from the 16th century as well, and it's just a stunning, some stunning buildings around here, really amazing to see. So if you've enjoyed this video and you're still with it, which would be amazing, then yeah, please like and share me, and we will see you again soon, guys. See you again soon.